Hi, I'm Melissa Cote. The fastest way to achieve success is to find someone who's already done an amazing job at what you want to do, and then have them explain to you exactly what they did to get there. We all rise by lifting others.
Hi, I'm Nycki Carter, and we are the founders and owners of Insporise, a platform where we can connect wildly successful people with aspiring successful people. And over the next 30 minutes, you are going to hear from someone who is truly inspiring. Hello, Nycki Carter here. I am the co-founder of Insporise. We are here with a super fun guest. I'm so excited for you guys to meet Miss Lisa Monette. She is a video expert. We're going to talk all kinds of things. I cannot wait. Without further ado, let's jump in and say hello to Melissa, and then we'll get right into it like usual.
Hi, everyone. This is Melissa. Thank you, Nycki. I am the other co-owner of Insporise. And Lisa, we have chatted with you for a few minutes already, and we have already had a blast. So cannot wait to get into this conversation. Firstly, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And then, gosh, your resume is unbelievable. So whatever you want to share, and then we're just going to ask a bunch of questions, I'm sure.
I love it. It's funny, isn't it funny? Anytime we have these like amazing, especially women have these amazing conversations, like, why didn't we turn that into a podcast? Like, I don't know, but you guys do say stuff. So
I think Melissa and I said that for about 3 years on the phone, and we're like, that's it, we're recording all these calls.
I know, even like dirty little secrets. You go, that should be on a podcast. That's a subject. It's so juicy. Yeah. So the question is, who am I? I don't know. Where did I come from? I was born in Hollywood, California. I grew up in Los Angeles. I love dance and entertainment. I mean, I always was an artsy style. And I did a lot of things. I was a hairdresser in Beverly Hills when I was younger and worked with a bunch of celebrities. I was really young and I was just like, oh, this is so cool. And I was trained by a master from England. Then I said, oh, I don't want to do that. Typical 20-year-old. I want to be a flight attendant. So I flew all over the world, lived in Hawaii and went to Greece and did all kinds of things. And then towards the end of my career at the airlines, I had a baby, I was married, and somebody turned me on to Mary Kay Cosmetics, a direct sale company. So I had never been in anything that was like a business like that. Even though I was out there making good money in the airlines, I was a leader, I was a senior flight attendant. I was always looking, for something to inspire me and to be better at what I'm doing. And always, my whole goal, you guys, right now is to get back laying on the beach like when I was living in Hawaii. I mean, that's like, I really love it. Bring everyone with me. But I flew around, and then the Mary Kay thing was great. It was the start of me learning how to book and recruit and sell and empower people. I never liked the makeup. I was already using like Lancome and Chanel, but I had never seen, and all these women in there, like they quit their jobs, did all that. So I've done a lot of different things, but the bottom line is I got into owning my own makeup business, and I was a trainer. And then again, I kept recruiting and doing events. And then a few years back, I was taking hip hop class with, she's a big influencer on Instagram, is Shalene Johnson. I don't know if you guys ever seen Shalene? She's a sports person. She kind of put Beachbody on the map, right? So guess what? I used to take hip hop with her down in Irvine. And her best friend, Monica, you can look at Monica Gray. She's this crazy mofo. I used to take hip hop with her, and she used to go, Lisa. She goes, don't mess up. And I was like the best dancer, right? So then I left, and I ended up being a VP for another MLM company on the East Coast. But here's the key. I come back, and Shalene is teaching, and I had done their makeup even for she had this little teeny nothing, you guys, thing. She was selling leggings, and she was a body trainer for $100 an hour. And when I left and lived in Atlanta a few years, I watched a video once, on television. I go, why is Shalene and Monica and these guys dancing on what's Beachbody, and what is she doing there? Well, she made this huge infomercial, right? Mm-hmm. So I come back to Orange County, and I take a hip hop class with her, and she's like, oh, you got to check out Brendon Burchard. I go, who's that? And so I started, and I saw him, and I go, oh, he's like a Tony Robbins wannabe. He was, because he looked like Tony Robbins' little son. This was like, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, the longer story that's getting longer to your question is that I did get introduced to Brendon Burchard's trainings, and then I got introduced to Brendon Burchard's voice coach, a really cool celebrity voice coach named Roger Love. I worked with him, trained with him, went to Hollywood, and he was so inspirational. He says, Lisa, you got to get your own business card one day because you're so good at this. But he was giving me voice lessons, and he worked with Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, Selena Gomez's coach, and Tony Robbins' coach. And this is what's so cool about it, is that he said, you know what? He was giving me feedback on how I spoke. And you could see I was training, I was on stages, I was doing all these things. And he said, and he started telling me different things that he liked and things that he didn't like. And that didn't like, but he was just like giving me feedback. So he says, go ahead, talk. So anyway, he says, you know what? One of the things you got to do is you've got to get louder. So I've got to get louder. My whole life, I've been too loud. I've been in trouble in school when I was younger. Look at these loud people.
And my wheels are turning with this conversation already.
I know. And see what happens is you think you're showing up a certain way. And every pro, and what I love about where I'm at, and I know your listeners are, and you guys are, is that we really are for upper level things. We want stuff to be, okay, we know this. We got that. We're good at this. I don't need anybody to teach me this. How do I take this genius that I have and take it up a notch? And so when I got inspired by someone like that, I said, I want to do that. And that's what I do. I help people come alive on camera. Ta-da! That's my bio.
That is an amazing
That's
bio.
a great story.
Yeah.
Jolene's boss. I'm obsessed with her on Instagram. Oh, where do I even want to start? So, okay, can we jump right into the conversation of with the way that women show up, right? Sometimes we get a little high pitched, sometimes we mumble, sometimes we whatever in a presenting situation. What are some things that you like to tell women or that you're seeing them in a coaching space in order to like take them to that next level? Because you can be confident in person, but then you see someone on video and they might be like,
that's great. And see, that's the whole thing. One of the things that I just said. So it's funny. I have this little chart that I use with people sometimes. It's kind of fun. Excuse me. And it's, does this show the writing? Oh, we're on Zoom, right? So it does read it. So it's like, how does your voice sound? You know what I mean? Like, how does your voice sound? Do you know how you sound? And so levels of it make a difference. So the big thing that when I'm coaching women, and I coach men too, men are easier to coach, by the way. They're just like, they either go, okay, I need help, fix it. Or they're like, no, I don't. I'm great. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not great. You have an oily face and your voice sucks. Okay, do whatever. You think you're cute with this hairy thing up your nose, and they're like, no. I'm really the distraction queen, meaning if you make your clients, so this has to do with any business, if you're making your clients get on a treadmill, not to lose weight, but you're making them get on a treadmill to listen to you, they're gonna, we have 3 seconds to show up. So that's one of the things I work with people is, how are you showing up in the first 8? We'll give it 10 seconds. What are you doing the minute you get on that camera? How are you showing up? So that's one thing. And the voice thing really is, if you study tonality, so like you could see that I lower my voice a little bit, what happens with the brain is that if we're always talking at one level like that, the brain doesn't think anything's wrong. So it says you're fine. But if I bring it down right now, the actual part of the brain, for whatever that section of the brain is, it's going, wait a minute, is something happening? Something's happening. If something's happening, you're going to listen again. Did you know that? Did you ever think? I never even thought it that way. Your brain is wired. How do you know people are listening to you? You just think, we all think, oh, I look cute, I sound good. How do you know? How do you know? Are you losing? So they have studied, this is professional, scientific, and the top voice coaches really, and acting too, is that when you can slow it down a little bit, just like slow it down, have a little mystery, a little bit, just a little bit. Like, let me tell you something. You're like, Have a little pause once in a while. I mean, I know we're all talkers and I talk fast, but when I'm coaching and training, I really do have to remind myself. And you know why you should also pause and have commas in your sentences? You know why? One big thing. Breathing. You're so cute.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like, wow, we didn't know that. Didn't know that?
My number one thing is I'm super high pitched. I have to focus on because as soon as I get excited, I'm just saying like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yes.
So high. So I always have to remind myself, like, I need to slow down. I need to chill out. I need to not go to like a pitch level 17.
Do you want a tip, Nycki, on how to do that?
Yes.
I do this in my training. Okay, so here's the exercise you can do. You could say, all right, everybody, I want you guys to start in the basement. So Nycki, we'll work with Nycki. Nycki, you can just copy what I say. You can go, okay, Lisa wants me to be in the basement.
Lisa wants me to be in the basement. I feel like a man.
Not your head. Just
relax.
Just go even darker. I'm going to go really low here. Really low. Like stupid low. Like not even real. Low. I'm going to go really low.
Lisa wants me to be in the basement.
No, Lisa wants me to go into a darker basement.
A darker basement.
No, but not like.
like-
Another thing is the breathing. I get that was a Kardashian voice. They don't. I go hi and they shut up. You know why they're squeaky? It's called a squeaky hinge. They go hi. Yeah, right, yeah. And don't get me on The Bachelorette. Oh my God, I can't handle it. They're like,
funny.
Alex, I love you. I really want to go out with you. I want you to get there. I want you to go. Get where? Your fucking voice is so low. Get where? We're going to do hometowns.
That's true. That was super Valley Girl. Why did that happen to me?
So now one more. So Nycki, see if you go in the basement, and then how about, here's where you should be at. It's called your center voice. So if you find your center voice, it is where you should be. Now you're thinking your center voice, but you're saying, I feel like it's high. So let's go up to the penthouse. Nycki, Lisa wants me to go to the penthouse. Go ahead, say it.
Real Valley Girl.
See what I'm saying? You can also remember that melody is like singing. There's 88 notes on a piano, and most people are using 2. They're like, yeah, this is how I talk. I do have emotion. I go up. Yeah, but I'm right back here, this thing, but I do talk like that. It can be boring. Here's another thing your question was about telling women they want to be authentic. I want to be authentic. Do you guys hear that word, authenticity?
Yeah.
What does it mean? What does that actually mean when you hear it?
Right.
Like, what does it mean?
Right.
You know, like what you mean versus fake? I can get on here and throw up and be depressed. That's really authentic. It doesn't help my listeners.
Right. Right. That's crazy.
So anyway, I have a million tips on that.
That's awesome. I wish I could think of the name. Maybe Christie's, the auctioneers. I've listened to some of her books, and her speaking tips and stuff are amazing. So
great idea. Remind me to write that down. But they talk 100 miles an hour at that Christie's auctions, don't they?
She has a lot more sales tips and speeches. Like all of a sudden you call on the man in the front of the room or something, and now everyone has to perk back up and pay attention because they're afraid that you're going to call on them next or something. So yeah, that's very interesting.
But did you guys ever see that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street, with Leonardo DiCaprio, right? He should have got the Academy Award for that, but he did, and he got it for like the next movie he did. But if you watch, and I study actors, I really study comedians because their timing is amazing. And do you know that comedians go for free? Famous ones will go into little hole in the wall places to test their material and to see what's landing for people, what causes them to laugh, where are they engaging, where am I flat right there? So it's our responsibility to kind of know how can we keep improving our presentation skills, and also our mood gets in the way, so having the right practice skills that makes you be effective really makes a difference. You know why Shailene ended up working with Roger? A lot of these, especially public speakers that run stages a lot, or any speaking a lot, you can blow your vocal cords out. You can get where you lose if you talk 8 hours at a seminar 4 days in a row, your vocal cords can get really tired. So there's exercises I do to help you keep your throat and all that working, because see, when I run out of oxygen, I start to sound like a Kardashian.
Yeah, that's the Kardashian face.
It's called a squeaky hinge. Like you have a little hinge or something, and it's squeak, squeak, squeak. It's because they have no oxygen, number one. Number two, they're self-absorbed. It's just about me. I'm just talking. I'm whispering because I don't care if you hear me, because I don't care. And a lot of people do that on a lot of the platforms. They're like, I'm just going to share with you today. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to me? Or are you just like am I doing therapy watching me and your little thing? I hate that.
I think those are really good tips about what you offer, as well as like where you're watching people, even saying like, I watch comedians and different actors, and I look for people that I want to speak like, because learning from someone that's farther down the road than you, or tips that they have and figuring out how to apply those are really, really great ways to live by. Do you have any questions? How are you doing?
So coming from somebody that doesn't like the concept of video,
is that you're talking to, or just somebody else?
No, me. Yeah, it was a stretch to actually start this. Nycki was
you're so cute, you should be on video.
Yeah, Nycki was like, we should do like a video, thing for Insporise. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And she's like, no, it'll be great. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna sit there like a vegetable, like I don't know what to do. So
you hire me. See, that's who you hire me. That's what I do.
Exactly. So I guess that's where my questions in my head as you're talking are going to, is that I'm sure that there would be a million things that you could coach on as far as, tonality and raising your voice and all the things that you even just mentioned. Do you work with people as far as, because I'm huge into mindset. I'm a certified hypnotherapist.
Oh, that's right. You are. Yep.
Yeah. I teach about manifestation and law of attraction and things. And so like, I'm very big on having your mindset be where it needs to be in order to achieve whatever goal you have. As far as like somebody who doesn't love the concept, like I just consider myself, I'm not really a shy person. I'm an extrovert. Nycki calls me, what do you call me?
An introverted extrovert.
She calls me an introverted extrovert, right? Like I'm
I want to be around people, but I don't want you to talk to me.
Right. Like I want to be social.
That's called, in the DISC program, that's a controller. Like it's a controlling supportive, which is an oxymoron. I got it, but I support you.
Yes, exactly. Right. So like I'm social, I can be fun, I can be talkative, but I also, I enjoy kind of standing in the crowd and listening to everybody else talk. Like I'll stand right next to Nycki and she'll just be talking to somebody and I'm just good to just stand there and listen. So for me, I just like it better to not be front and center. So what would you say to, because I know there's a lot of people like me. So what would you say to people like that?
I would ask you why. Why is it you said that? So that if I do work into the whole thing, you know what? This is a great question, because I really actually don't care so much on the tones and all that. That's a little bit later. Actually, no, that's really like the basic stuff, like the fundamental, you have to look in the camera. Hi, you have to see the lens. You can't just keep looking at yourself all day long. You have to. So there's all the fundamentals that you want to be. If you're whispering, nobody fucking knows what you're saying. Oh, sorry. Can I say something?
Perfect.
But I would be asking you, just as in hypnotherapy, which I've had also, is that why is it you think there's a reason you don't want to be in front of the camera? There's a voice that's telling you, and this is not just you, this is everyone. This is what I get by working with people, is what is this voice telling you? The voice is the ego. And the ego is saying something's dangerous here. It's the only reason. The ego's there, right, to make us safe, but it also screws everybody up because the ego runs the show. I tell my clients let's turn off the ego for a second. Let's put him over here. Let's put, who is the character of you? So this character that you just said, great, good. Put her whatever, let her do whatever. But we want the character. Because you're a pro, what's the character of you now that needs to show up? It's not fake. It's just, this is what's stopping people because these conversations are blocking getting in flow. Getting in flow and getting that true, authentic. But it's not easy because the camera is metal, people. That I'm still not touching you. It still takes, there's a vibration that blocks. People don't understand that the camera can block your well-meaning message. So these sounds that are going in that people are hearing, sounds have to hit, it's got to vibrate. It's an energy field, it has to vibrate. If your vibration is one note wonder on the piano, or I don't like being in front of the camera, I'd rather be behind the thing, the camera does not lie. So you being on the camera, you have to decide what's the character. I know a lot of introverts. I follow this one chick out of Australia. She makes $500,000 a month. She's awful on the camera. But I mean, she hates it. She's like, self-centered and weird, but she's gotten better because she's not better. She just doesn't give a shit anymore. She just has a message. Yeah. So I would ask you, do you really care? Or are you just a taker? Huh? Tell me. Tell me. Are you? She's like looking at me like, I'm not a taker, but you know what I'm saying?
I'm like, what is that? You're right. Well, what do you think about that?
Those people don't get to get me. I care, like you just said, but I don't want to be on the camera. But you don't have to be on the camera, but you actually you should, because no one will see you. They'll just be reading. I'm bored with reading in pictures.
Right.
But nobody has your characters, you guys. That's why the camera makes people stars. And my first business on location artist, my tagline was, I bring out the celebrity in you. And one time somebody said, I don't like that word celebrity. I went, screw you. It's a celebrity of yourself, not these other people. It's your own celebrity.
I love
I
that.
got it. That was
I
a
love that
rant.
too.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about character creating. Is that what you would call it? Like, how does one do that? Like, if in the marketing space, right? I can build your brand, but I don't create characters. I create a brand, a feel. So is that the same connection, but for yourself?
Yeah. Well, okay. If you're creating a brand, how do you define what's a brand? What is a brand? Somebody says, what's a brand? What do you mean? What do you tell them?
I would tell them that it's the basic pillars of how you want someone to feel that in a marketing space that's going to convert them to sales. So I take
you want them to feel a certain way by looking at you? Oh,
that bitch is a boss.
Wow. So my thing is, if you got this brand of these polished pictures or whatever the pictures are, well, once the person goes behind the little curtain in Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, what was behind there? I think to answer your question, what I do in my training is I'll tell people, like, explain to me, what is the character? Let's just say, what is the character of you? Liv, if Nycki, I asked you to tell Melissa, what would you say some characteristics she has? What's some characteristics she has of her personality, her character? So you would do that. You would ask, you would say, well, the character, this person is kind of a rebel. She's kind of out there, or she cares about making a difference in the health industry. But that's more of the brand is like, what's this soul thing? That's why, of course, like when you're watching like a Shalene or any of these people on Instagram or even Facebook, they're showing their home, their personal, and then boom, here's a little business, personal, little business. Why is that happening right now? It's kind of being merged. So you can't get rid of the video if you're going to be a brand expert, to me, because until you open them out, I don't trust anybody until I can see them talk. And I've had some beautiful stuff that I've seen, and then I'd watch the video and I go, just don't get it. They're just not my, they're okay, but they're just not moving me.
Yeah.
We want the whole picture to me to be congruent. Or there's people that have like really great videos and they really don't have a good brand, image. But now that doesn't matter as much. The video is what's causing people, because people are zoning out at 1 second. But they will watch Netflix. You have a show like Netflix, and people are going to keep tuning into your show.
Right. They want a show too. If it's going to be a video, it's going to need to be a show.
Yeah, and we're doing lots of stuff, and I want to make sure I'm not trying to say that it has to be perfect lights and all this stuff. The perfection of imperfections, great. I sit, outside. I'll walk on the strip in Vegas, and I'll do a video, and I love all that. My thing is, can we speak can we just talk to a camera without a script and all this other stuff? Well, to do that, you got to have some training on to do it the right way so that it makes sense.
Love it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. How do you feel?
Okay, I know we just talked a lot about the character, creating a character, but I had one sub question to that.
Yeah.
So I in everything that we've talked about, I've kind of figured out like why, or at least a bit of my hesitation. So I guess how do I say this? My character. Yeah, right. My character of like who I am in real life versus who I would show up as in front of a camera. Can they be different? If I'm naturally more reserved, I like to sit at home in my sweatpants. Like I don't like to put makeup on a daily basis. But if I get on camera, I'm going to do my hair, I'm going to do my makeup, I'm going to, be peppy or whatever. Like if those two people are different, like who I am behind the camera and who I am on the camera, is that okay? Or do they have, in order to bring that authentic self, like, do they have to be the same person? Do I have to show my private life the way that it actually is private?
That is such a great question, because there's so many people that sometimes like, I don't really want to see their private life so much. Like they're digging so deep. I'm like, I don't really need to hear that. So everyone's kind of all, right? They're all over the board right now. But what happens when something gets a little juicy or like off the chart a little bit? You go, what is she talking about right now here? So I'm all about, here's, how to answer that. What makes you feel good? Period. I don't, it's an oxymoron. When I go live or when I train, I get prepared. I have this thing. And I also do this little prayer, not a prayer, but so much like I let go of any attachment. It's an oxymoron because I'm like, you know, no one's watching you. Nobody really cares. And when you start thinking everybody's caring about what you're saying, they're really not. They don't really care. They're busy. And if they did stop for a moment, good. They might grab a nugget that I had. But on the other hand, I always do an intention. My intention today was to meet you guys, be of service, be of value, and also love spontaneity. People get so hung up, it has to be right. I have to do this. No, you can go without makeup. I've done a bunch of ones without makeup, and I'll get feedback like, you look great without makeup. Good for you. I don't wear it for you. I wear it for me. So if you don't want to wear makeup, don't wear makeup. I like go without makeup, at home, do a video. See, I believe that we have a through line of what turns us on, right? So that's who you are. It's not these pieces of the brand and the picture. It's just it's the character of who you are. What do you stand for? I mean, actually, you'd ask the question, what do I stand for? I stand for freedom and creativity and dance and theater. I love it. Yeah, I love making money. I love having stuff like that. I'm not run by 10X and Grant Cardone's, hard male or thing that's like tough. I'm more like, I want like freedom and creativity, but I want people to get results. But I want to have friggin' fun doing it, right? So I do exercises to help people have permission to do whatever. But have a purpose and don't hide out, girlfriend. Oops, my internet went out. Come back, there it goes. No hiding out. Yeah. No hiding out. And also just remember anything like what you just said, again, is in your head. So the character to answer, I really want to make sure I answer this. It's like Brendon Burchard, or you look at Tony Robbins, all of them, they don't need shit. They know how to talk. All of them do a voice exercise before they hit the stage. So does Charlene. They do it before they hit anything because you want to warm up the vocal cords. You want to breathe properly. So these are just things to make it so that you have your body has the energy, because honestly, people are attracted to energy. They're not attracted to boring shit. I mean, that's my people. And you don't have to be peppy and up. You can be like a bitch. I do rants. You'd love it. I'm like the anti, motivational person. And just get out of the box, try something from a different perspective. So that's what you want to do. You want to test yourself and go, let me try something different. Especially if you're a hypnotherapist. Like, are you kidding? Go out there and do some weird shit.
You need to go hang out in Sedona. That's what we should tell her, huh?
Yes, exactly. Oh.
The rocks.
No, she's in Vegas. We need to go out and get crazy. We go live on that shit, and we talk about life.
Heck yeah.
Drinking martinis and talking about what's holding people back and having some fun while we make money. Why does it have to always be in this same setting? Ugh.
I think that would be a fun episode. Yeah, we're just out on the strip drinking, just giving people advice as they
we should do that. I love interviewing people just like you are. Thank you for letting me be here today. I like to stop people on the street sometimes, and just have a mic or just say, what's your philosophy on whatever? You get weird shit answers. People love that stuff. See,
I can only imagine what kind of answers you get in Vegas, dude. It's not you're in Scottsdale where they're like, my philosophy is I like money. Vegas, who knows?
I like spas. That's what I like.
I like Sedona.
I love it.
It would be a really fun episode. Mm-hmm.
So let's kind of take the importance of video and put a why onto it. Why do people need video? How do people use this to further their brand or get sales, or what's the next step? So you perfect the skill, you would use this for speaking engagements, online presence, sales funnels or something, because that's where my marketing brain goes at least.
Yeah, no.
On that. And
yeah, for sure. That's a great question, because when I started, I hadn't done any challenges before. Have you guys done any group challenges, or you've been in challenges? Have you ever seen 5-day challenge? Have you ever been in one where you go and it got really,
maybe.
It's what?
Nutritional stuff maybe, but
okay. So it's Brendon Burchard's running a challenge right now this week. So he's got all these different speakers on from all the Boss Girls and just different people, Lewis Howes, all kinds of stuff. So what I noticed when I started doing challenges, so I would do a 5-day challenge, and I would kind of train like I'm doing with you right now, but I would speak just straight to camera to Facebook Live. And then I did a VIP thing, which is like what we're doing inside here. And then I would kind of work with people on their stuff. And the reason I started doing that is in this challenge training that all these people were in, they kept pushing using click funnels, or these funnels and stuff. And so all these guys got so hung up on the brand and the wording and the funnel. And then they like do these videos and I would go, oh my God, the video's bad. Oh my God, that video sucks. But they were so hung up on, I got to get this funnel. I've got to get this web. I've got to get this thing. So if you can get good on videos to use them, you can put videos in your email. Like I could go on and on. There's many ways to repurpose the video. But for me, my biggest thing is I like helping people that are growing their Facebook groups. And I like them to be able to speak and go live in different spots on, the platform that they're using. Especially, I'm really using Facebook a lot. Look, I ran out of my air right there. I didn't breathe. Okay, sounded just like that.
I just had something come up for me when you said, what do I believe in? I definitely am going to go back and join your group and find this video because I feel like I'm young, right? Like, I'm like, I don't know. What do I believe in? If you ask me that, my thought is like politically in life, like in food.
I don't mean politically.
Like I don't even know.
No.
If you ask me what I believe in, I'm like, you should wear pink on Wednesdays. Like, I don't know.
No, I don't mean politically. We can't even talk. Listen, we can't do political because there's censoring everything. Last year when I would go, I said, you have to have freedom. And I go like that. You know what I mean by freedom? Like you couldn't use the word, whatever, the M word, mask or something, so yeah. I was being careful. But I was using this as so many people, they're still walking on the street, masking their life. Let's call it a metaphor. They're just walking around just like, oh, look, take it off. You can breathe. You can be outside. You're not in fear here. Nothing's going to come and get you. Same thing on going on the camera. People are scared if they go live or they go on the video. They won't go. They're frozen because somebody's going to judge them. Bottom line, judgment hurts, especially women, hurts them so much on that.
Yeah. So
when I talk about what do you believe, I believe it's like talking about, I believe in freedom. I believe in this. I love this and that. You kind of have to figure out, you do believe in things. That's why you're here right now. You just said it. You believe in branding, but I want you to dig deeper is what do you mean by branding? What is that doing? So I have a brand, but then what? What's under that? And then what's under that? That's to get, when we can get people to that, then they're going to get freed up because all this techie stuff is driving a lot of people to just freeze back or they don't have the funds to do it. I love these people that have got all these things, they've got all these connections and they're with all these coaches. Yeah, they're a trust fund baby. They've got a husband paying for them. And then, they play around. They've got a couple thousand a month and then they can invest it. And yes, a lot of people have gone up, big. But I want people to be able to do this easy with a camera and something that just with your heart and a message.
Love it. Love it. So much. Yes. Yes. I
inspired.
Yeah. Super inspired.
I'm just envisioning my journaling later. That's like, and the next level and the next level. And I will, I'm going to do some soul searching because of you, Lisa.
Yeah.
You guys are so cool. I love it.
And I talk about it a lot, how we personally are inspired by our guests so much because, and by each other a lot as well on a daily basis, because we both, I would consider Nycki an extremely intelligent person. And I hope that she feels the same about me. And, when we talk to each other, sometimes we don't tell each other things we don't already know, but the way in which she perceives information in her own head and then feeds it to me, it ends up resonating differently than if I just had the thought myself.
I know partnership. You guys are so fortunate to have that because brainstorming really, sometimes you already have the idea and you just want to get feedback and you might not even agree with her on something, or you go, I just needed to run it outside of this own little brain here.
Yeah. So everything that you're saying, I am so unbelievably inspired because I have these conversations with myself a lot. Like I've been a business owner for 15 years and, I could absolutely coach my own clients. I've built websites for small and large companies, thousands and thousands of them at this point.
Wow,
and I could coach
I didn't
them.
know that.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow,
yeah. So I started in late 2006, early 2007, building websites when MySpace was still a thing. And so video was even a thing in that era. And
we couldn't even download it. They didn't allow us to even, it took an hour to do it. That was right when Gary Vee would just Crush It. That book just came out, I think, right around 2006, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I could coach my clients all day long about what they need to do in order to get their website out there and get themselves out there and get their brand out there. And video has always been a huge component, especially when YouTube started. Everybody was like, should I have my videos on my website? And I'm like, absolutely. Yes. Video is king. Like, yes, you need to do that. And so these are all things that I know in my head, but the way that you are saying them is so incredibly inspiring that I'm like, why have I not done this yet? Why have I let my ego and my fears kind of control that aspect and not gotten myself out there? So thank you for the way that you are saying everything, because it's I'm gonna go home and make some videos.
Well, you know what I challenge you to do? What you just said right there, come into my group and just go ahead and do that right in my group. Applaud you for what you just said, because you're just like, it's almost like I took like a weight off your shoulder. Like, what are you doing? You're making it into something. It's not even, forget that. Create like a new character. The character, you know what the character is? Today, my character is badass. Hey, tomorrow my character might be a rant. I have levels of videos. There's different styles. You're one of us, or your step-by-step videos. There's just like many ways to do a video. If you can start diversifying, you're going to stand out instead of just being like cookie cutter. I'm not saying you're cookie cutter. I'm talking about people, you know?
I think that's interesting because most people have their moods, right? Especially in like my mommy mood versus my business mood versus my not mommy mood, right? Whatever.
Hustle mood.
Right? Like all these things. And so I can only imagine if you showed up as each one of those people in different spaces, how much authority you would build and how much more connected someone would be. Because if you're only, which is part of why we want to be able to message people and talk to people separately, right? And like on our platform is you might be an authority, but then I want to know what else, right? Like what I said, right? Where did you get your makeup done? You know, what do your kids do? How's it going with your husband? Like,
what time do you go to bed at night?
What time do you go, what do you eat? Like,
so you guys like that. You like when people are giving behind, it's called, behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I do too.
And I don't show up like that. So
neither do I. Weird is that?
But the trick,
I don't do that.
What is she doing? But the trick of all that, it's so funny. My daughter, she's a crock up. She used to watch me years ago when I was first getting this going, and I just couldn't quite, figure out what I was going to sell because I was scared. I'd been selling millions of dollars before that, but I hadn't really done the online thing. And so I started doing videos and I'd go live, but I had no offer. I was just like, well, I don't want to like salesy. So I would talk about, she goes, why are you doing those videos? I go, oh, I want to get people to know me. I want to get people to know. Now she says, oh my God, you were so ahead of the game on that. It was true. I had no purpose. So when you're going to cook in your kitchen or you're going to do something or whatever, make sure that somehow you bring back somewhere just a tad bit about why you do what you do. Not every video, but I'm just saying sometimes you can do something and just go, God, I sure love, this is what I love helping people with, or just something that makes sense of the whole picture. And I don't do it all the time, but but people are really scared to have a call to action sometimes in videos too. Like
especially as women, that's probably a really safe assumption that I can feel sometimes in my day-to-day, especially in a marketing social media sense, that I would like to be like, oh, how nice is it that I get to be home with my son today because I work from home. But I really struggle. Maybe it's ego, maybe it's confidence, maybe it's something to be like, look at me, I get to be at home with my kid. Well, I know, like, how do you,
Nycki, do it? Because I'll tell you, I was just like in my 30s, I think it was when I did Mary Kay. It was like, everybody was like 25, 35, right? So you guys are somewhere in this 25 thing. So the reason I got into Mary Kay, I was a flight attendant flying all over the place. They closed the base. I had to move to Salt Lake City. We lived there for a while, then we got back down into Orange County area. But what happened is I could see these women, they had free, and you know how they got me? When I went to the first Mary Kay events, I said, this is stupid. I hate their makeup. It's dumb. But I saw something that they would kept telling their I story. I get to stay home with this because I used to struggle here. You don't just, if you put your struggle, then you put your gratitude, then it's going to work because somebody struggling needs to be home with their kids like you are. So you gotta say, like, it's not always, oh, it's so perfect. When it was not perfect, I was blah, blah, blah. It's hard for us sometimes to say when things are screwed up. Because I also was trained I have a major transformation training. I work with Landmark Forum and all kinds of different transformation. And it was always like possibility thinking, putting it into existence, right? We don't want to be negative. But guess what? Negativity and pain works in marketing. And it works a lot as long as you have a voice that what you believe in. So the I believing of who you are keeps it. I'm like messed up, I'm fucked up, I'm sad, I went through divorce, but you know one thing, I do believe this. I believe that I can speak unapologetically to whatever. I don't care what the subject is, because that's who I am. So that's why then people will go, oh, she's one of us. You want them to be one of you. So don't hold back on this. I love having my freedom in the kitchen, having it. Yeah, own it. Man, before, this is the pain that I used to feel. God, I'm so inspired. And then somebody might have helped you get to that point. So then it starts, now you're integrating it all. But you do need to never feel the guilt of what you're doing, because I still see people now, they're trying to be careful. Like, I'm now making 50,000 a week and I was down and out. I'm like, oh, shut up. I don't want to hear it, because it's too big of a gap. Sometimes if you got, people don't read, I go, you know what? A big deal. I went to the academy.
I wrote down this morning.
You what?
The Gap. My G-Wagon broke down this morning and they gave me a rental from Mercedes, and that can't be a story. But especially because I know that I come from a place of service and inspiration, right? Like that's always my ultimate goal. But then when you transition that into something that is inspiring, like I want it to come off as inspiring, not as like gloating or whatever, right?
Well, what do you do for fun? You know what I mean? Like, because when you just said that, I'm really about this, your tone of voice, I wasn't listening to the words. By the way, do you know your words are 8% of the message? The rest of it is physiology. The way you deliver it and how you have energy around it is what makes the words pop. Those words don't matter. That's why I don't like so much blogs and stuff so much, because you got to be a massive writer and reader to the brains to connect. If you're not a reader that wants to do a long sales page, then they're going to tune out. Then there's readers, we've got all these different quality of people. Right. But yeah, it's really interesting what causes you to tune out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, you have inspired me today, you guys. More.
Right back at ya.
Yeah.
Inspirize. I've been inspirized. I said it. I've been inspirized.
Put it
out there. Now I got it. Ooh, she's getting it started. Yes.
Yay.
You guys are great.
Okay, so let's we're getting close on time. Thank you so much for this hour. It's been amazing. Who inspires you? Where do you hang out? I think those kinds of who do you like to learn from? Who do you like to listen to? And
God, who inspires me? Let me think. It just depends on what year and what thing. Who am I inspired by? What inspires me is messages that just kind of come out that are real and raw. So there's a lot of, there's like different people that are, you don't know them. They're just like private coaches that I'll see them in a group and they'll do something that's just really, it's just people that have flow, that really could get in flow, and people that are just open. I'm trying to think, isn't it funny? You know what's funny? How many female superstars are there? Not that many. There's more, like you could say Tony Robbins, Les Brown, you can say Gary Vaynerchuk, you just start naming out all, Lewis Howes. Yep. So that inspires me. God, my afraid, Roger Love inspires me, the celebrity voice coach. He's amazing. He just, someone that just says, hey, look, you're not loud enough, get freed up. My dance teachers inspired me. I used to take hip hop a lot. I hurt my knee and then the pandemic kind of slowed it down a little bit, but I want to get back out doing that again. So that type of stuff. Mary Kay inspired me because she helped women own their life, like, that God, family, and then career, so that you could have your own thing and live it that way. I love that. Watch, I'll hang up and I go, I'm more inspired by a bunch of other people.
What I find really inspiring, and this is super random, but it also ties back into the fact that I like different aspects of all types of people, right? Like your demeanor and your very artsy brain flow is super inspiring to me, because I have the most artsy daughter who wants her own and I'm very left brained or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I like systems and processes and I want to show up at this time. And, I have to pencil in that we're going to do painting, where she's just like, oh, paint all hours of the night. And I want to make my own Barbie clothes. And I'm like, I don't know how to facilitate someone that's artsy. It's very hard for me. So you're inspiring in the fact that I feel like you'll be a resource to help nurture her and coach me on nurturing her, as well as voice and media. I can see where you would fit in my life in multiple levels, which I think is the most inspirational thing.
Well, you know what? It's beautiful, because when my daughter was growing up, she took ice skating, figure skating, started at like 8 years old, 9 years old. Well, she was down in Orange County. Well, a bunch of her people all went to the Olympics. So Michelle Kwan and Sasha Cohen. And so I used to do their makeup for like NBC, Wild World of Sports. And so then the kids grew up, and then they were in high school, and I would do the prom makeup. Then I became the cool mom that the little punk little teenagers, when they're not so cutesy, they would like lie to their parents and do all that stuff. Well, I got them because I knew NLP kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm not just right brain, I'm left brain too. But I would find out, and my dad was a cop with the LAPD, and my mom owned beauty salon. So I got both sides. Don't mess with it. So the point is that I got really clear that you have to build rapport. I did a whole video on this, building rapport with these kids so that they trust you and you know what's happening, and kind of the listening to them. But then of course I would be wicked.
That sounds very personal.
Yeah, I got sneaky people. I'm all about, you know who else inspires me? One more person is Chris Voss. He's kind of big right now. He's retired of one of the best negotiators with the CIA. He's a hostage negotiator. And he has a book called Don't Split the Difference. And he's all about negotiation. He specializes in hostages and terrible stuff, but now he's a mega star for businesses on how do you negotiate? How do you build rapport? And guess what he talks about? The way you sound, different body languages, connecting. So it is artistic, but it's extremely analytical too. It's a science, you know, so it is factual. So we got the facts with the art. I think that's my genius zone. I think that will help all of our clients to, some people are then there's the other type that are all artsy and they're all over the place. I have to like hone them back and go, hold on, dude, you need to focus up here. Let's make something happen. So I think we have to have a cross between both.
Yeah, I think that's what I need in my life. I think we got a good network here.
Yeah.
I think we got lots of things to do, us ladies.
I can't wait. I love it. We got to meet in Vegas too. Doesn't one of you live here?
Books, absolutely. We'll get Nycki to come. Yeah, this is gonna be great.
This is great, you guys. I love it. You guys have great energy. It's lovely.
Right back at you. You're awesome.
Yeah. Why don't you tell people how to connect with you?
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, so you can connect with Lisa Monette on Facebook, and I have a group that you could just go right to, the Come Alive on Camera Tribe. It's called the Come Alive on Camera Tribe equals successful thinking, successful speakers, but Come Alive on Camera, or just I'm literally on my personal DM. I really don't use the business page a lot because I just don't. And everybody's on the personal stuff. So come over to that, and I would love to talk to you. And also, I could tell your listeners too that if you'd like me to do a video audit, you want me to look at some of your stuff and give you a little feedback on it, and have a little call on that. I mean, just a DM, back and forth on it. I could give you some feedback, but feel free. Thank you guys. I love being here, and thank you for inviting me.
So much, Lisa.
Thank
this
you.
was so fun. Yeah, we'll connect with you, and we'll get everybody connected with you through your platforms. And you're on Insporise, so we'll have anybody comes from that direction come and see you too. So
love it. Thank you so much.
Right.
I love it. Have a wonderful day, guys.
Thank you too.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.